Welcome to another edition of Therapy Lounge. I'm your host, DuPreeShamir. Thank you for coming to your session once again. And it's so good to see everybody's back listening. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. And I look forward to having y'all guys listening more to a lot of great conversations. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. I want y'all guys to follow me at Social Therapy IG on Instagram. And also you can follow us at Social Therapy #1 on Twitter. Today we're going to be talking about relationship status. Now, it always been in a relationship status. We always had like where the men was the breadwinners. The men always the one who works, and the women will always be home, taking care of the house or taking care of the kids, and we had the responsibility of going out there and working and providing for our families. So now, in this day and age now, where we look at it, whereas you say, okay, we have it where we call it the relationship status, where some women make more money than other men, and some men make more money than other women. It always seems to be a situation where whoever makes more, there's a problem sometimes where, the male, he might feel as though his girlfriend or fiance or his wife is making more, or he feel as though he's less than a man. And sometimes you don't have to feel that way, and vice versa. Sometimes a woman might make less than her boyfriend or fiance, or her husband makes more, but it's always been that situation sometimes where it's been like the status, like who makes more. And I just feel as though it don't have to be that way, where you can just you person who makes more doesn't make them less than they make. So there's always been a situation where a lot of couples have problems when it comes to the financial status or the financial situation. And I think what we can do is like, okay, like, if I was in a situation where my fiance made more money than I did, it wouldn't bother me. It's like, long as I know that I take care of my responsibilities, and basically, moving forward, and just being like, the love is stronger than financial. Whereas basically we know that we both have responsibilities, we taking care of one another, or you taking care of your family, or you just basically like it's not going to be a conflict of interest where you say, okay, this person making more, or they having a disagreement, or they having an argument, and they saying, well, listen, I'm making more than you. Well, you're not helping me. You're not really stepping to the table. I'm doing all the work. I'm paying all the bills, and you're not. There's always been that situation where I think that if the man and woman sit down and say that, okay, this is what we do. We're gonna work this out. We're not gonna let money or anything come between our love for each other, as long as the other mate doesn't feel like the pressure is on them. And that's what you do. You sit down and you talk this thing out. If your mate made over 80,000 a year, and you made maybe under, let's say like you made under 20,000, sometimes it always seems to be, not all the time, but some people will be like, well, he makes more, she makes more than you. Then, you need to step up, and you need to get to that point, meet them at the door. And I say that that's not necessarily true. As long as they have an understanding, it shouldn't be who makes more. It's all about the responsibility, the trust, the understanding, and just basically working together as a couple. You will succeed more in that relationship. It'll be more healthier, because I think what you need to do is also that when you in that relationship, whether you engaged or you are married, and sometimes you got to keep people out of your business. You have to keep friends and family out of your business, vice versa. I'm talking to the men and I'm talking to the women. You sit down with your mate and you say, okay, we got these amount of bills. I need help with that. And y'all guys sit down, write out a plan, write it out and say, okay, we share this bill. We share the bills on the groceries, the mortgage, or the rent, whatever the case may be. And then you build from there, because this is not just only a man's world. We still always hear that legendary song by James Brown. This is a man's world. I say now it's a woman's world too as well. It's a woman's world. I think that we both can both build it together, like walking that bridge together, because there's millions of successful women of all walks of life, successful women. And also we have the successful men, whether you have six figures, if you have under six figures, you can find a way to achieve the goal that you want to be at. Sometimes we have to get that status mentality out of our minds. Wherever you want to live comfortably, whatever you want to do, I think it's important to just say, you know what? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to my mate and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I want to make sure that I can generate a lot of revenue stream from trying to work this job or work in my business to be successful. And as she say, well, okay, I'm doing this to be successful, and I'm bringing in more revenue stream. So my thing is, it's good to talk first. It's good to talk instead of just you have it where you both might bring that negative energy where it's not getting nowhere. Both people are arguing, both people are angry, because when it comes to that money, sometimes the money can be the root of all evil, and where it can just kind of divide the love to one another. So I think it's important to kind of just sit down and say, okay, this is how we're gonna work on this. We're gonna build this. We ain't gonna let this money come between us. We ain't gonna let what situations, whether it's the bills and all that. And I think once you have that understanding, the trust gets more stronger. Love is the highest elevation of understanding. And once y'all guys have the understanding on what you have to do to survive and this day and time, it gets better. And you'll see other couples, whether it's in relationships, you'll see other people see from y'all great success what y'all guys displaying to others, and they can follow that trend. And they walk in the footsteps saying, you know what, I see what so and so is doing as a couple. They could be a power couple. And then this is what we're going to do, because we have it where I didn't heard and I didn't seen where if a lady, she has where it's a nice she has a nice job and she's making a nice amount of money per month, and she has a nice salary, and the guy he might have a lower type of job where it's not really successful. There's always a conflict, because when there's a negative energy being spilled out through the universe, there'll be arguments, and him or her will say, well, that's why I'm making more money than you. What do I need you here for? What do I need you to? You're not really stepping up to the plate. You're not helping me like that. Then that's when it's going to be a problem, because from that point on, if y'all don't sit down and reconcile your differences, that's gonna linger in the back of his mind, or vice versa, her mind. And what it does is it breaks a person's spirits. It makes them feel so less of a man or woman. That low self-esteem can play a major part in a relationship, when the person feels as though the other person don't appreciate their value, or they feel as though they're not really bringing that to the relationship. First, I want to say is that, you know, you sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to better our relationship. I'll say meditation is very good. Meditation, prayer, meditation, just feeling good. Whether you only got a little bit in your pocket, just sit down and write the things that you want to do. Today, I want to make this a better day. I want to tell my mate that, you know what, this is my plan. I'm moving forward with this plan. This is what I'm going to do. I want you to believe in what I'm trying to do. You know, should not be like a status situation. It's about like empowerment situation where we can build together and no one can break us apart. Not money, not outsiders or anything. And I think that's what will prosper. That will make the relationship blossom like a flower, having that trust and understanding. You elevate your trust, you elevate the levels of just like learning together, building together, and not beating each other down or making each other feel less than, that's important. So yeah, that's what you should do, because it's to the point now we still deal with that. Like and sometimes as a couple, we don't sit down and talk about these things. We know that we get the bills in the mail, we get it in the emails, and we know like, okay, this got to get paid. The electric, the water, the sewage. And then at the end of the year, the property taxes or the mortgage or the car note. We know how all that plays a part, and it's a mental thing too, because sometimes that can be a major distraction on the healthy relationship, building each other up. That plays a major part in trying to come between the relationship of man and woman. Those bills sometimes can play a major, it's a mental thing. It's really a mental thing, especially, okay, this gonna be subtracted from my check. We gotta pay this. That or we're gonna get shut off, or we're gonna lose our home, we're gonna lose our car note, the repo man gonna come. Then, it's always those things that plays a part. Then when you working a day shift, a swing shift, or a graveyard shift, you gotta get ready for work, or you gotta say, oh my God, I gotta get this, I gotta get here. That plays a part on how many hours or how many minutes you gotta get to your job, drains you out even before you get to the job. So you spend 8 hours, or you may spend 12 hours, or you may do a double. And then when you come home to your mates, vice versa to each other, you're so drained at the middle. You're so drained by the time you get home. And sometimes there can be times when y'all may have less conversations. That plays a part. You have less conversations. You might have dinner. Did she cook dinner for me? Did he cook dinner for me? Or sometimes it comes in a negative vibe and come off where the kind of anger comes in when you start arguing about, okay, this and that. You got the bills, who cleaned what areas of the house, did this bill get paid, and this and that. That always play a part in the relationship. And I think that I think a man and woman should take this advice. Get your composition book or get a book, write down the things you say, okay, this is what we need to do when we get off from work. I would say meditate before you walk in the house, him or her. Meditate. Say, okay, I want to make sure that when we come in, we can at least give each other an hour. And if you have children, you got to make sure you give your children an hour or two, or give them time to see mommy and daddy, because we know that there's the work doesn't end from work. When you get home, it's work. So I think that's important to write these things down, to be one step ahead of the game, where you just can say, you know what, okay, I know when I come home, I'm gonna be drained out. I'm not gonna feel like being bothered. But you have to be as responsible as far as your mate and your children, to say, you know what, I gotta spend time with them. I explain to them how my day went, how the job went, and you sit there and you talk it out through the X's and O's. You talk it out and you say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna work on today. um, tell my children how my day went. How did school went today? You would ask them how the school went today, or how was the recreation, how was if they on a team. Was Pop Warner, whatever the case may be, if they playing, your son or daughter playing, he's playing football, she's playing basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball, whatever the case may be, because they need to know that they're loved. It's not saying that you don't love them, but you letting them know, that they're important to you, and you want to know how their day went, because it makes them feel good as well. They know mommy and daddy have a big responsibility as the parents. And that's what I believe. That's what makes everything healthy, and far as a family too, as far as the relationship status goes. When others feel as though, it's the number game. If they make more, is sometimes cockiness can plays a part, arrogance, everything. I just think when you subtract the status quo out of your mindset, and you just say, you know what, it's about the love first before all else. So yes, you want to be responsible, but If we desire the materialistic things of the world, we lose ourselves. We lose who we are as a person. We lose ourselves as growing as a couple and as an individual. When sometimes the number game plays a part in the status. So I think that what you do is, you take time out with your mate and say, this is what I'm doing. This is what we're going to move further as a couple, and that's what helps, build on that relationship. Um, I want y'all to sit back at the end of this show. I want y'all to sit back and message me and let me know how you felt about, this the show. And today, kind of sit down with your mate and say, I listened to DuPreeShamir on Therapy Lounge, and I said, this is what we need to do, because it shouldn't be about who makes more in a salary, whether six figures or lower, lesser than that. Say, well, this is what we do. We don't let that come between us. We both have a responsibility as soulmates, and this is what we're going to do to better our marriage in a relationship. So I think from this moving forward, I think it's good just to write everything down. And if you got to write on a piece of paper, write it, put it, in your email, your daily planner, or whatever the case may be. Because I'm telling you, I think that once we change our mindset about the status, about the relationship status, you will see a big change. On It's not about who makes more. It's all about the love that you have for each other, and y'all believe in each other, and y'all support each other. And it's all about, like, long as each both are taking a responsibility on everything that needs to be done to keep the relationship golden, to keep the marriage golden, and keep it going for longevity. I think that will change everyone. We'll have less divorce, because right now we see that divorces is on all-time high. Even during the COVID, a lot of couples breaking up due to the COVID-19. And we have a lot of people, as far as being parents, being frustrated with their children because their children was home 24/7 during the COVID pandemic. And, school, everything is being virtual online now. And you're trying to find a way to say, okay, I'm trying to figure out who can I get to watch my kids while I go to work. I may not be home. I may can't work at home. I still might have to go into the office and be 6 feet apart from my coworker. So we still have people that still have to work. And the reality is that, is there's a different change now, where now the students are may not be the students are home now. Students are doing everything online, where you need them to stay focused, to stay off the internet, stay focused, don't be playing the video games. And that helps, far as being disciplined, to yourself. And once you kind of discipline yourself as a parent, and as a couple, then it's like it rubs off the positive energy to your children. And then they see by your leading examples on how to say, okay, this is what it's about. I see with my mommy and daddy, they're not arguing about who makes more than the other. They're kind of just like, okay, they love each other. They not even worrying about the money. They just saying, you know what, we responsible. We gonna take we traveling. We kind of just we taking family outings to the park. We learning from each other. We not letting money dictate who we are as a couple, or individually. So, and that's what I love. I love about, there's a lot of great couples, a lot of great a lot of great marriages is out here, with couples. And I mean, everywhere you can learn from people who've been married 10 years, 20 years, even 30 or 40 or 50. Especially, the elders. I mean, you'd be surprised when you hear from elders how they've been married for like over 50 years, 40 years. I mean, to me, I think it's an amazing story, because they had love first. They had love before financial status. They had love for each other through the ups and downs, through the rich and poor. They survived together, and they loved each other. And I think that when you start hearing more stories from older couples, older people, elders, it can inspire, it definitely inspires you to be better as a couple. And that's what it's all about. You kind of like just leading by an example, doing that. Cause I see, even I noticed too lately, like couples, if they have, I notice a lot of couples on like joint accounts. A lot of couples do, some don't. You tell me, leave a comment, tell me, is it true or not? What do you prefer? Do you prefer a joint account with your husband or wife, or or you feel as though y'all should have separate accounts? What's your opinion about that too? Because I think that some people would like a joint account. Some people feel as though because him or her might go and tap into that, and they might buy crazy, ridiculous stuff. And sometimes they may not they may not let us know what they're going to buy, or just give us a heads up. Some people just want to just have their own accounts, and I think that's basically really it's really kind of like what people feel as though like they feel as though they need to have that they need to have their own account. So it's very important to understand, sit down and say what you trust. You got to have trust first. You can't say you don't trust that person. Trust your mate. It's very important to trust your mate. So you know it will make the relationship much better. So when you do that, you will grow. So yeah, it's not always about what the person have. It's all about just basically just growing together as a whole. It's not about who got more, who got what. If they got 3,000, you got 5,000. Share, share your wisdom. You don't feel like, oh, I don't feel like I trust. You gotta have trust. If you don't have trust in a relationship or marriage, you can forget it. It's not gonna last. I'm telling you now, it's not gonna last. So please, sit down with your mate today and talk things out. You will feel a relief. You will feel great. You will like, you know what? I'm glad this is working out. I'm so happy about this. So, we're gonna take a quick segment and we'll be right back. So now we want to know how you feel about just basically sharing what you have as far as when it comes to money. Do you feel as though like that it's good to have a joint account, and or you just have your own account? Once again, um it will make a difference, if y'all guys have that trust. The trust is the major thing. Trust. So, you know, some people don't mind sharing a joint account. I mean, I think that it's good to have a joint account because okay, y'all guys have a joint account and you can just have the joint account for the bills. Okay, you have this joint account for the bills, right? You have another account for vacation when you travel and stuff like that. You have another account for your account for you, single account, individual account, where you have your account when it comes to business. Do you have a business account or she have a business account? I think that'll be great, to do. And it's not about hiding from each other. It's just all about having trust for each other. And when you trust each other, the love is definitely going to be there. And so that's where it makes a healthy relationship. Let me ask y'all guys a question. Have you ever been with someone that you felt as though just felt like they didn't trust you in a relationship, or you felt as though they was keeping a secret from you when it came to financial? um what's your response to that? That's very important. Do you feel as though your spouse should know everything when it comes to financial, or you feel as though they shouldn't? What's your opinion about that? I mean, I think that it's important to just be open, to be truthful, because I think there's a longevity when it comes to the relationship. I believe that it will be fruitful and it will last forever because y'all got love for each other. You're not hiding anything. You don't feel like you have to keep something a secret. Y'all guys is building on just the trust factors, and y'all sharing the wealth. You're sharing the wealth, and that's what it all boils down to. Because like I said earlier, love is the highest elevation of understanding. Love, trust, and just not feeling insecure. That insecure is the worst thing that can happen in a relationship. You'll see a status where it could be y'all should have the talk too. If it's like y'all have female friends or male friends, and they're just like business partners, they should be able to know who the business partners are, vice versa, and they have an understanding, and that trust is there where everything is just business. There's no one doing anything behind your back. You're just a trust business. Everything is business. The team is like you're keeping a team, and I don't see where there's a problem where the female have male guys on her team, and it's just everybody's doing business, or a female has yeah, or a male have females on his team. I think that trust, when the trust is there, the business entity grows stronger. You as a boss, you as a female boss, the male boss, y'all have the team, the power team, and a couple power team that keeps everything together. That will keep everything going so well, because that insecure plays a major part on in the relationship with just whether you just engaged to that person, boyfriend and girlfriend, or marriage. That's kind of the number one split up too, is the insecurity in that relationship. And once you have that insecurity and you don't trust, and you kind of thinking in your back of your mind, and sometimes you think wrong, you think this person doing this and they're not doing that, you accuse them of doing this, it just takes the way, like, this person only, my mate don't even trust me. I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this with them. Every day there's some kind of like insecurity moment where they don't trust them, or they feeling asking them, accusing them of something that they may be doing behind their back, him or her back, or your mate, vice versa. So, don't do that. Don't jump to the conclusion. Don't jump to the gun. Don't just kind of like, you got to have that trust first. The trust. You need that. You need that trust. You need that respect. The late great Aretha Franklin said it best. Need that respect. Respect your mate, and believe in them, that they love you with all their heart, and they're not doing anything behind your back. Now, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen when a person is insecure and they find out that the person did cheat on them. I'm not saying it don't happen. It happens a lot, but it's in between 50-50. You got some that will do that, and then if it's secured in relationship, the relationship is secure, what is important. So that's something that you need to sit down and think of too when you get involved in a relationship. As far as this, the relationship status, you need to sit down and just talk things out. Or if you're in the pre-stages of a relationship, whether it's boyfriend and girlfriend, them pre-stages is always healthy, or you can learn from other people's mistakes, trials and errors, and then just sit down with your friend, or your mate, and say, this is what we need to do, and this will make a healthy relationship. Trust me, it is the truth. And you'll see statistically, you'll see that a relationship grows, prosper, and you'll see a whole big difference in that relationship, where nothing can come between you or her. It's very important to learn from each other. Maybe they might have experiences that they past relationships where it was really bad, and the trust factors are, people don't have trust. And if you come in the picture and you show them trust and show them love and honesty and unconditional love, this will bring out a whole new person. This will make a person feel so great and say, wow, I finally found my soulmate, or my princess, or my prince charming. So, that really helps in a relationship. And, you know, I think that's very important. And I thank y'all guys today for tuning in to another session of Therapy Lounge with your host here, DuPreeShamir. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you set your appointment for our next session next Monday. Thank you so much. So please leave a comment, leave a feedback. Let us know what you think about this show today, the relationship status. Also, please follow us on Instagram, Social Therapy IG on Instagram. Also, follow us on Twitter, Social Therapy One on Twitter. And also subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Social Therapy Mag. Please, if you have any comments, we would love for y'all guys to advertise your business, your brands on Social Therapy IG on Instagram. We charge only $19.99 for 1 month. We promote your business twice a day on Instagram and Twitter. That's twice a day for 30 days for 1 month for $19.99. That's a great opportunity. That's a great deal. You cannot refuse. So please also follow me. I almost forgot. Follow DuPreeShamir on Twitter. That's DuPreeShamir. DuPreeShamir. Follow me on Twitter. I would love to hear from y'all guys. Please DM me. Let me know what you think about this show. Let me know, was this very helpful today about the relationship status? And please do me a favor today. Keep love in your heart with your mate. Sit down and talk. Even if y'all guys had a disagreement this morning or this afternoon or this evening or tonight, please sit down with your mate and talk things out. Write it down and say, listen, we need to listen to the therapist. We need to listen to DuPreeShamir. He has given us great tips and great advice. So until then, I hope y'all guys have a great day. Keep it productive and keep therapy in your life. Thank you for tuning in. Bye now.